I just wanted to touch base and go over a few things and give some updates. Now, I have not made too many things yet. I am still in the process of inventorying all my supplies, gathering supplies and things of that nature. Most of my videos talks about where I go for my craft supplies. And of course, my first place is going on the app called Vinted. The nice thing about Vinted is I always know I'm not going to spend a lot of money, and the things that I'm looking for isn't really sold in the stores. It's almost like I have to hunt for what I need. So the nice thing about going on Vinted is that there is opportunities to get such cool craft supplies at such low prices. One of the things that I did get was a book. Now, I haven't worked in clay in quite a while, but basically 30 years ago, that's all I've done. So I picked up this book, Creative Ways with Polymer Clay. This is such a nice book. It's retail at $17, and I got it for like $3. So the reason why I get things like this is because books are always like having your own little library inside your house where you can reference different ideas and techniques. Working with clay, there's almost an infinite amount of things you can do with it. But, and especially things like this. Now, I used to make beads and things like this, if you can see this. Isn't that cool? But they just have such great information, great pictures, loads of inspiration. So I'm really looking forward to it. And again, I just want to stress that these books on Vinted are, sometimes you can't get them anymore, but you're going to find that they are really, really inexpensive. So I primarily go on Vinted to hunt down seasonal craft supplies. But it could be anything. I've gotten canvases, I've gotten cookware, mostly arts and crafts, which is like rubber stamps. I've gotten books and some cookbooks. So definitely check it out. I'll just share with you a few of them that I got. I am trying to find some Halloween rubber stamps for my cards, and these were really nice. And this one was never used. And most of the time, people are selling their rubber stamps for a few dollars. So I really get excited because even if you go on like Amazon and all those other selling platforms, it's almost impossible to find what you're looking for at a reasonable price, of course. And what's nice is a lot of these stamps have never been used, such as this one. Um, yeah, these were a company I think called Prism Marketing, or Prism Marketing 2015. But if you walk into any craft shop, you really can't find things like this anymore. I can show you a few more things. Oh, so what I really noticed is a lot of these people that sell Vinted, they must have a lot of their stuff like in their garage, in their storage unit, in their basement. I wanted to get some stencils, and I really wasn't caring about what type of stencils. Most stencils are very flimsy and, like paper thin almost. Well, I ordered these. Something just said, just buy them, and I did. Well, I'll tell you something. These stencils were maybe $8, which isn't much. But the quality of these stencils is amazing. Look at them. It's almost a quarter of an inch thick on plexi. I think it's like lucite plastic. But they have such neat cutouts. And if you think about it, you can use the whole one. You can use this as a stencil, but you can either take the individual parts of it and use only part of the stencil, which is really cool. But I want to show you briefly what I got. I was really shocked. I mean, these stencils are so durable, they would last literally forever. And I had no idea there was this many either. Sometimes when you're buying on Vinted, they don't put a good description in, or say pictures. I didn't know what I was getting. I just knew I was getting something that I can use for the holidays coming up, or Valentine. Excuse me, I was going to say Valentine's Day for Halloween. So when I got these, I just opened them up a few minutes ago, and I'm actually shocked. The detail, the size. I'm not a really good person that knows how to draw, but I do enjoy having things like this to help make sure everything looks really good. So I think what this is going to have to end up being is I think I'm going to have to get me some some canvases. I have a few already. In fact, let me show you. I got these off of Vinted as well, but I don't know if these will, yeah, these should fit. So I got these off of Vinted for like $2. And this is like a board, a canvas board, but I figured, you know what? You can easily draw pictures and make them spooky. It all depends on what I think I'm going to do with them. I'm pretty sure that's what we're going to do. We're going to just draw out some pictures, paint with glitter, glow in the dark paint. I have a bunch of things that I'm going to be doing, but it's nice to always be in your creative spot. I think creativity makes you happy. It always made me happy. Life can be so challenging for a lot of people right now. And, I wasn't sure if I was going to even do this because I had a lot of obligations at my job. But I did get laid off at one of my jobs. I used to work 2 jobs, 80 hours a week, and that was exhausting. So when I started to do a little bit of research on what was selling, how they're selling it, I thought, you know what, I think this is worth it because, you know, um, it's just something that I like to do. And I've always been a crafter since I was like a little girl. Back in the 80s into the 90s, that's when I, went to shows, local shows. But one thing about it is I didn't have any problem selling my work. And a lot of times I was the only person that worked in certain mediums, such as polymer clay. But it gives you the creative edge that you always wanted to fulfill. And I think a lot of people say, oh, well, I'll do it when I retire. Or maybe some people say I'm too old to do it. A lot of things was in my head as I started to come up with this idea. And I did not have a plan. I only started thinking about this probably when I got laid off this year and it was around March. So I thought, let me get my act together here and come up with a plan. So the first step was I don't even own any art supplies anymore. I have a very little amount. So I've been spending a lot of time investing in what I needed the most. So at this point, I stocked up on polymer clay. We have our pasta markers. We even have all kinds of stencils and stamps and things of that nature to get started. I think I kind of have a addiction to craft supplies. But, again, I use Vinted app because I think the people that used to be addicted to craft supplies are selling it really, really cheap. So, I really, I think that my approach to crafting is always on the whimsical side. But, it's almost like, I don't want to kind of like get ahead of myself. So I think what we're going to be doing going forward is showing you some of the actual videos of making things. My camera just came in today. It's actually a camera stand. And I just got it today through Amazon. So I'm in a place where I have no excuses. I've been getting everything ready and it's now time to create. So what you're going to be seeing on my channels, now I'm on a different channels. Of course I have my YouTube channel, King's Canine Cookies and Crafts. The new channel is called Lydia Bates Creates. And if you can like and share on Lydia Bates Creates, because I can't go live on that channel with their rules and regulations on YouTube. So like and subscribe to Lydia Bates Creates. I'm going to try to have, I'm going to do some teaching videos because a lot of people may not, I see that a lot of people may not understand how to use, say, for example, polymer clay, but it's so versatile and you really can't really make mistakes with it, even though sometimes you might not bake it long enough, but it's an easy medium to work with. So we're going to be making tutorials, and sometimes we don't have time for tutorials. I'll just show you the finished product. So that's what's exciting. I actually just hired an assistant, and the reason why I did that is because this time of year, when kids are going back to school, that's the beginning of the holiday season for business people. I haven't even started in anything, and I don't have, I do not have anything really started, but the plans are going to be laid out tonight, what we're going to work on first, and we're going to start gearing up to the holidays, especially with Halloween right around the corner. I'll be doing all kinds of worry stones. I have planned sculptures, magnets, ACEOs, which is the little 2.5 by 3.5 art cards, and we're going to be making some wall art for Halloween. Some people like to buy those things, and I've been noticing there's not a lot of it online. There's a little bit of it, but I'm going to try to explore different possibilities, and I'm really excited because this is the first time in my life that I've had downtime. I mean, I've had downtime before, but right now I have some downtime. So, getting back into crafting is not an easy thing. And I did question myself many times. Can I do it? Do I want to do it? Do I have the money to do it? The time, the energy, everything you can think of. But the ultimate goal is, for me to create my art like I used to. But the assistant is actually experienced. She's not like coming out from scratch. She's all ready to go. So hopefully we will. I'm gonna have her on some of these videos too. Won't just be me, but the goal is just to create a business that I can sustain. Um, Lots of people are doing it, and in this economy, as everybody knows, every time I look at a post or a Facebook post, people are losing their jobs, and a lot of people are making their own money. It's not just a few people. I would say a big majority of Americans have created a niche for themselves that they can either work at home or I hate the word side hustle, but that's the term that I'm hearing a lot, and people are really successful at it. Some people bake cakes, and they bake. One woman was making food, delivering it to shut-ins and people on Social Security and Medicare. She was actually contracted to make these meals, which I thought was really awesome. There's people making cookies, cakes. They are doing all kinds. They're doing mail clubs. Mail clubs I thought was kind of odd, but I thought, hey, that's a good idea because people don't get mail anymore. So they generate a whole package of mail that they can send out to their subscribers, and people just love it. So, never underestimate your creativity, and never underestimate the economy. A lot of people can't find good jobs like there used to be. And the way I'm seeing it, a lot of these creators are doing really well creating their work. Not everyone, but again, you've got to push it. So I have experience in some of the marketing strategies is local selling strategies. There is, of course, your social networking strategy. I'm going to be hitting a lot of those areas a little bit later on a different video. But you have to have some kind of plan because, for example, in my little area, I don't really consider this a viable city. But, and at the holidays, yes, people buy more. But I think with this economy being as bad as it is, I'm not going to depend on this area to sell. So getting yourself a website or going on a platform like Etsy, those are the tools that may take your business over the top. So, and I've done my research, and I kind of figured out how I'm going to go about this. And I'm going to share that on the next video because I'm getting, I don't want to get this video to be too long, but I actually am at 13 minutes right now. But I am going to be sharing some of those tips because a lot of people, they get into selling on these platforms and they really get stuck. And I think that's interesting. So what you should be doing, do what I did. If you're not sure about what you're going to do with this, any kind of crafts or arts lifestyle that you want to present into a business, if you're not sure what to do or where to start, one of the things that I did was I went on to Facebook and I started joining groups because there's some great discussions about some of the selling tips and tricks of what you may not even realize. And thank goodness I didn't join that many of them, but I did it for like Vinted, I did it for Etsy and eBay, because each of those platforms has their own set of rules. And according to what I'm thinking, a lot of people, they don't do any research before they start on these platforms. So just as a word of caution, you should always investigate things. Of course, investigate whether if you want to be an LLC or a sole proprietor. You want to gauge your time and how much time you can dedicate to a business and the resources that are out there. I mean, there's resources, but I think, in my opinion, starting out is not easy because I had to read and understand, and I still don't understand everything, but how does Facebook work? How does Facebook gets connected to Instagram, and it's connected to Threads, for example. Then another app that I use is Lemonade, which I still don't understand how to use Lemonade. But YouTube has been around for years, which I always liked YouTube. But it's and it's shareable. I can always share the links and things of that nature. But getting started is not easy. And there's no manual that I've actually. There is a book that I bought. I don't have it handy, but I did get a book about. I didn't read it yet, but there are books about some of these topics. But in a nutshell, I'm going to share some of the things that I've learned about some of these other platforms because I had no idea how tricky it can be. One thing I will say, it's always a good idea not to sell on just one platform unless you have your own website. Um, you can start off on one site and still have your own website as a backup or at the same time. People are getting surprised about their sales, what they've made versus what they received from these platforms. So you just have to be cautious of what you're doing. And sometimes, again, I'm going to be sharing more of those tips, not on this video, but we're going to be wrapping it up in about a minute or so. But again, my new channel is actually called Lydia Bates Creates. Kind of has a ring to it. I kind of stick with that title. So that's where you should like and subscribe to that channel. And the King's Canine Cookies and Crafts is just my original channel. I'm going to be sharing content on both. And I'll probably do this. I'll probably share the pet related crafts on this channel. Because I don't do as much as I used to. But I do plan on making some paintings and drawings of cats and things like that. So I'm going to be back and forth on both channels. And it's good to have two channels, by the way. I thought about it was maybe too much. And I was going to convert this one over. So now I'm going to have two. So I actually, right now, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook. So, Instagram, I'm under Lydia's Art Studio and King's Canine Cookies. So just check us out, and I do appreciate you watching. And we'll talk soon. Take care. Bye.